you wrote about this best of suites, suites versus best of breed discussion. We talked about this on your podcast too. I like to call it platform versus composable. Being a Marketo guy yourself, I was actually pretty surprised to see that your conclusion there was that you actually favor best of breed tools, but you accurately called out the challenge of integrations with composability and best of breed. What's your solution for tackling the age-old problem of endless lines of API integration overload?
Yeah, so it's really funny that you say that in a way, and I can see where you're coming from. But I have always considered myself a best of breed guy, like for as long as I've been doing this. But I think the meaning of that has changed. We talked a little bit about this before, but where it was like a suite meant that you were going to buy like all SAP or all Adobe or all Salesforce. So you're going to use Salesforce and Pardot instead of like Marketo and Salesforce. So Marketo and Salesforce was, best of breed because you're using two tools from two different vendors because you like their functionality. And I think what's changed is just that the ability to break that functionality down into smaller and smaller point solutions and microservices and have them talk to each other and give the average Martech team, or let's say the slightly above average Martech team, the ability to, connect those dots together on their own has increased so greatly. And to the point where now Marketo is the monolithic platform and people are breaking that apart into different components. The thing that I think about there is, just like, there's no perfect MOPS leader or there's no perfect CRO or CMO like considered in the abstract. There's just a perfect person for a specific job in a specific company at a specific time and place. And it's the same way with tech. I think there's no perfect tech stack. Everything is about context. Everything is a cost. Everything is about trade-offs. And so you have to consider if you're a company of 10 and, you have like a quarter of an FTE working on Martech, like I don't think you're going to go and build a big composable stack because it's like, this is the best. It wouldn't make sense in that business context. And in other contexts, of course, it would. And you've lived that, I know, Phil, from our past discussion. So I think, to me, ops is a game of skillfully managing those trade-offs to achieve an objective. And you have kind of one eye on the present and you have one eye on the future. And I feel that with the rise of easily accessible APIs, the rise of microservices, and most importantly, the rise of workflow automation tools has changed that game and made it easier than ever. So long-winded way to answer your question about APIs, but I think having a centralized place to manage all of those connections means you don't necessarily need to have your marketing automation platform be like your workflow source of truth, your CRM be your workflow source of truth. You can have an independent workflow layer. I have the most experience using Workato. It's my tool of choice for that. But that could actually be your place where you have all your logic about data value updates and who goes where and who does what and all the if this then that stuff. And then you have your systems of execution that are sending emails or sending text messages or booking calendar invites or the interfaces where your sales team is working to do their stuff. And I think that can be managed quite readily with error handling and troubleshooting and without making you go crazy, with a lot of custom development. So I think we're there. And if I was building a stack today, I probably would look at that at least at the first place, depending on the context that I'm in.
Yeah, very cool. I think the rise of web services and even like this idea of warehouse native MarTech tools where we're relying on activating data that is in our warehouse. Like I think a lot of folks listening to you about a quarter of a full-time data engineer on the team, like that was too real of a statement for me from past gigs there. But